Hello, I'm James Caldwell. In this video, we're going to take a look at Ferdinando Carulli's Waltz, Opus 121, number 1. This waltz is in the key of C, and I'm playing an abbreviated version of it as found in Jason Waldron's Progressive Classical Guitar Method book. This version consists of 16 measures, all in the key of C. The full version includes another 16 measures, and it goes off into A minor. This piece is an excellent early repertoire piece for the beginning classical guitarist because it instills a few of the basic techniques found in classical guitar. Let's take a look at the music, and then we'll get started. Looking at the key signature, we see that it's in the key of C with the absence of any sharps or flats. It's in 3/4 time, which is typical of waltzes. In this edition, the right hand fingering is given over every note. And this piece of music keeps the right hand in the home position. And by that I mean that the thumb will play the bass strings, the I finger will always play the third string, the M finger will always play the second string, and the A finger will always play the first string. If we take a closer look at the music, we can see that every measure begins with a downstem dotted half note. That means that the bass note rings throughout the measure, and we have to hold that note down while we play the other notes that follow. Also, you'll notice that every other note is the open G string played with the I finger. In this arrangement, if we look at the third measure and compare it to the 7th measure, the 11th measure, and the 15th measure, we can see that those measures are all basically the same. However, in the first measure, the M finger plays a D note on the second string first, and the A finger plays the F note on the first string later. Whereas in measures 7, 11, and 15, the A finger plays the F note on the first string before the M finger plays the D note on the second string. Okay, let's get started with measure 1. To begin, our third finger is going to hold down C on the 5th string. That's played with the thumb, and then the I finger immediately plays the third string G. That's followed by a G on the first string played with the 4th finger on the left hand and the A finger on the right hand, followed by the third string G. Then the A finger plays the open E string, release the pinky, and then the I finger plays G. The second measure, we're holding down that C on the 5th string again and play it one more time. G on the 3rd string, C on the 2nd string played with M, G on the 3rd string, E on the 1st string played with A, G on the 3rd string played with I. The third measure, we're going down to a B on the 5th string played with the 2nd finger and the thumb, G on the 3rd string, D on the 2nd string played with the pinky, G on the 3rd string, now F on the 1st string played with the A finger, and the G on the 3rd string. Measure 4, we're back to C on the 5th string, G on the 3rd string, open E played with A, G on the 3rd string, C on the 2nd string played with M, G on the 3rd string played with I. 5th measure is just like measure 1. And 6th measure is just like measure 2. Now the 7th measure is just like measure 3, except that the high notes have been swapped out. So B on the 5th string, G, F on the 1st string played with A, G, D on the 2nd string played with M, G. And measure 8 is just 2 C's held for 3 beats. Now, in the 7th measure, in other editions, instead of this B on the 5th string, it will be a G on the 6th string. And in the 8th measure, often it's filled out with a 4-note chord instead of just the 2 C's found here. Now on to the second half, measure 9. We're moving over to the 4th string. Third finger is going to hold down F, played with the thumb. followed by the G on the third string. The fourth finger plays the D on the second string, and the M finger will strike that. The open G again. Lift the pinky off for the open B, played with M, and the I finger playing G. Measure 10, going down to E on the fourth string, played with the thumb. Open G. This time with A finger plays an open E, open G. M finger plays the C on the second string, and there's that G again. Measure 11, B on the fifth string, G. F on the first string, played with A, G. Pinky plays D, M, and the G, I finger. Measure 12, we're back to C here. The fifth string, G, open E, played with A, G, C on the second string, played with M, G. Moving down to the last line, measure 13 is just like measure 9 with F on the fourth string, D on the second string, and the B. Measure 14 is just like measure 10, E on the fourth string, open E, C on the second string. And measure 15 is just like measure 11, B on the fifth string, open G, F, D, and 16 ends with the two C's. And as I said in the first section of measures 7 and 8, it also applies to measures 15 and 16 in other editions. In measure 15, instead of a B in the bass, it'll be a G in the bass. And 16 will end with a 4-note chord, as opposed to the two C's found here. A couple of points to stress in this piece is that the bass note must be held for each measure. And some beginners will find this quite challenging to hold down, say, the C on the fifth string, while the fourth finger plays that G and lifts off for the E. You may just want to practice each measure repeatedly until you can do it without any trouble. Measure 2. In measure 3, we're going for that B, D, F, and you want to place your fingers in the order that they're needed. So in measure 2, we were holding down these two C's on the fifth string and second string. As we go to measure 3, switch over to the 2 finger, then the 4 finger plays the D, then the 1 finger plays the F. So as I make that change, my fingers actually go down in order, 2, 4, 1. And in measure 7 now, the change would go 2, 1, 4. So practice those changes by placing the fingers in the order that they're required. It allows the music to flow more smoothly. In the second section, we're holding down this F on the fourth string, and we're working that second string. This is measure 7 and measure 13, they're the same. A lot of beginners have trouble with that. We have this open G, and we're holding down F on the fourth string and the D on the second string, and it's very easy to accidentally mute the third string if the third finger is leaning down a little too much. You'll get that dead third string. So make sure the third finger is on its tip. It's curved over, arched over, coming straight down on the string on the tip, and it's clear of the third string. Same with the fourth finger. It's arched over, coming straight down on the tip. So make sure you can play those measures cleanly and not disturb the third string. Now each section, each group of 8 measures ends with a repeat symbol. So if you're performing this, you can repeat each section and make it last longer. I'll play through it right now, but I'll just skip the repeats. So here we go from the top. Now, another thing I want to point out is that although this is a series of eighth notes, The notes played with the A finger and the M finger should be held as long as possible and should be brought out because that's where the melody is. So if we were to eliminate the bass note and that third string G note that is ever present, we would just be left with these notes. And that's what you want to hear as you play the piece. We want to draw attention to those notes. And the same would apply in the second section. Bring out the upper notes. Well, that's a quick look at Carulli's Opus 121 No. 1, Waltz in C, an abbreviated version, that is. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you'll consider the things I've mentioned as you practice this piece. Please stay tuned to this channel for more essential studies in classical guitar. I've been James Caldwell, and thanks for watching.